to work on the back cover now. So we have our front cover done. Looks great. I'm real happy. So now we're just going to go here. We're going to go File, and we're going to go New. We're going to create a new one. Don't forget, I went in and named mine. It always says Untitled, but I went in and called it My Soundtrack Front. And now I'm just going to make a new one and call it My Soundtrack Back. So let's go New Drawing and do the same thing we did for the front. So we're going to call it My Soundtrack Back. And you know what, too? It would actually be a great idea because I'm going to get a ton of these. So you put your initials in there and like an underscore. So now I know who you are. So we want to go File. Once again, let's do the page setup. We want it to be the same exact size. So 12 by 12, a standard record. Okay, now we have our size. So if you remember from the previous video that we did, I went into Microsoft Word and I typed my list of songs. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, piece of cake, I'm going to select them all and I'm going to copy them. Now, maybe you want the numbers, maybe you don't. You can just as easily turn the numbering off. I'll leave them on just to see what happens. So let's copy that. And then I'm just going to drag this off to the side. And then I'm just going to draw a text box right in the middle. And then paste them in. Okay, so there you go. There's all my songs. Now, you can spread them out all over the place. You can run them down the center. You can sparse them out all over the place. Let's say I'm going to put this over here. Now, if you wanted to do something creative, let's just figure something out here, shall we? So we could do shapes. Let's just pick some shapes right now. Pick a rectangle. And we'll just give it a color. Something a little bit easy on the eyes. And then let's just take that first song, okay? And then here, I can double click and paste that song in, okay? And then you can, make the song fit. Make it bold. You can change the font to impact. So there's a lot of cool kind of things that you can do. As I said before, you can erase, get rid of the number 1. I'm just going to keep it in there for the sake of keeping it in there. And then really just kind of start figuring stuff out. Maybe you want to have, an arrow with a song. I'm just really trying to show you kind of the ability of what are some of the things that you can do with your song titles. So double click, I'm going to paste that in. Once again, let's go bigger. Okay. Now, personally, I'm starting not to like the numbers. So just because I think when it pasted over, it didn't work too well. So I'll number them myself because it just looks like it's gonna work a little bit easier in terms of the spacing. So for example, as you can see, and I can start kind of figuring things out. Now you could, if you wanted to, just go and use all different kinds of fonts if that's what you're trying to do. And then look, you can stretch and then it fits. Once again, you can kind of move things around. Now you obviously want to try and have some sort of order to it. Now, if you wanted, you could just as easily go in and maybe, let's say, for example, your back cover could be just pictures of all of you. It doesn't really matter. So I'm off to the side. I have some pictures from Facebook that I would, like to use, throughout my life. So we could kind of take a look around here. I'm looking off to the side to find some pictures, but here's a funny picture that I like. So I can go in and find some goofy stuff. So let's just say I'm saving these off to the side. Okay. And I'm just going to pick a couple just for the sake of, making life a little bit quicker and easier instead of sitting here all day. So, okay. All right, so I have 2 pictures that I picked. You could pick 5, you could pick 10. You could do a mix of the artists again, of pictures maybe you didn't use, and you're like, oh, I really like that picture, but I didn't get a chance to use it. So, let's kind of go along with that model. So there was one picture that I did like from Smashing Pumpkins, this one. It's just a cool, graphical picture Now, I could throw this in back here, but like I said, make sure you have some rhyme and reason to what you're trying to do. Now, you could, you could actually go and put a text box. So let's go back. Let's make sure it's straight. So we'll put a text box on it right here and do the actual Smashing Pumpkins song. So let's take this one. Okay. We're going to steal from here and we're going to put it down here. Okay. Now, obviously, you can't see it, but let's go with white. Get rid of that. So now, now you're kind of moving things around where you could actually, if you had the time and if you wanted to do it, you have plenty of time to do it, you could take 10 pictures of all the different artists and do another collage with their songs underneath. So I literally just thought of that, and that's what I love about art and design. You just start messing around and things start to happen, and you really kind of enjoy it. You could, now if I go to move this, see what happens. The picture type doesn't go with it. So you want to click on this and then click on this one too. And now that I've done that, you'll see the whole thing moves. Okay. And you could right click on it and do grouping. So now it's grouped together. So now you don't have to worry about it floating off or getting moved around. So it's really entirely up to you. You could, like I said before, just run your title right down the middle with your songs and do a collage around it like you did with the front where your picture was the emphasis of the design in the center. You could do the same exact thing and just do your songs in the back like this all in a row. You could do select all, and then you could align them to the center. You could space them out more. And like I said too, you can make the box bigger so all the words will fit nicely. Okay. And select all. You could go in and pick a cool font. Don't go too crazy with your font. Like this just is kind of hard to read. Not a big fan. Just be very careful, and that's something we will talk more about is, the choices of the fonts that you're going to use. So, make sure when you do go in, you're going to find something that, people are going to want to read and they're not going to have a difficult time. That's great right there. And as I said before, you have a couple of different options, with your design. What is it that you want to do? What is it that you want to try and accomplish? Moving things out of the way. And then once again, at the end, I could just take this box here and this could be my entire background at the very end. Okay. And then I would just right click and send it to the back. So now I have a colored background. Now you could, sometimes it gets a little tricky. Here's a cool trick. Just put your box over here in the corner. Okay, remember, don't forget, you leave stuff off to the side. This is your pasteboard. So once you get your layout the way you want it, then just draw this big box over the front. When your whole design's done, it just makes it easier. And then you just go order, and then you send that whole thing to the back. So that makes it a really nice, easy way to do it. But as I said before, go in, get some pictures. As I said before, I want to use more pictures of me. Just because, some other different fun things. Here's a goofy picture of me hanging out with some friends. I could crop her out because she's not even looking on the screen. I just have my funny little headpiece on, just, looking silly. And then, just putting these different pictures of me happy, pictures of me sad. It doesn't really matter, but it really should reflect the songs, the mood, the different times in your life, and that's really it. So, you have your front, you have your back, and then last but not least, I'm going to show you how to put them both together. Stay tuned.